If you're gonna do something, do it. Say what you can do and then do what you said you were going to do. And if you can't do it, don't say that you can. Don't overpromise. Don't over-leverage yourself. Don't commit to something just to commit and then only step into it halfway. Decide first, think it through, but once the moment comes, don't hesitate. Go in fully. What keeps people stuck isn't failure, it's the not knowing. It's the what if. It's the feeling of wondering whether you would have succeeded if you had actually tried. When you half do something, you never get closure. You don't know whether it wasn't right for you or whether you simply didn't give it enough effort. That uncertainty stays with you. It shows up late at night when everything is quiet. It makes you replay choices over and over in your head. But when you go all the way, you get something much more important than success or failure. You get the truth. You get to find out. You can look in the mirror and say, I didn't cheat myself. I didn't pull back. I didn't hold something in reserve. I went all in and I learned what this really is for me. Maybe you realize it's not for you. That's not a loss, that's clarity. Or maybe you realize, yes, this is exactly where I belong. Either way, you're no longer stuck wondering. A lot of people spend their lives half doing things, half committing, half believing in themselves, half holding themselves accountable. They don't study themselves. They don't challenge themselves. They don't take time to look at their own patterns, their own habits, and their own decisions. They also don't give themselves credit when they do something right. And at the same time, they don't correct themselves when they know they're off track. They either go too easy on themselves or they're brutally hard on themselves, but they're rarely honest with themselves. Real confidence doesn't come from pretending you're perfect. It comes from knowing who you are and being willing to deal with it. You should be able to look in the mirror when something goes right and say, good job, you earned that, you did the work, you showed up, you followed through. And you should also be able to look in the mirror when you mess up and say, no, that wasn't right, and you know it. Fix it. That balance is what builds strength. Most people are much more gentle and forgiving with others than they are with themselves. When someone else tries and falls short, you encourage them. You remind them that they did their best. You reassure them that it's okay to stumble, but when you fail, you punish yourself. You talk to yourself in ways you would never talk to anyone else. You carry guilt, you carry regret. You replay what you should have done differently. Yes, sometimes you are the reason things didn't work out. Sometimes you made the wrong call. Sometimes you didn't show up the way you should have. That's part of being human. Own it, take responsibility, make amends where you can learn from it, and then move on. Guilt and regret have ended more lives, more dreams, and more potential than failure ever could. You are not meant to live stuck in yesterday. You are the author of your life. You don't get to tear out pages, but you do get to decide what happens next. When you take care of the things that matter, your health, your discipline, your faith, your family, your character, you notice something change. The highs don't get out of control and the lows don't go as deep. Life still has pain, but it doesn't throw you around the way it used to. Here's one of the strange truths about life. It only makes sense when you look back, but it can only be lived going forward. Every ending you thought was the end of the story was actually the start of something else. You just couldn't see it at the time. When you look back, you can connect the dots. You can see how one thing led to another, how one mistake turned into a lesson, how one closed door forced you into a better direction. Right now, you might not know exactly what you want, but you do know what you don't want anymore. You know what you're no longer willing to accept, and that gives you leverage. That gives you a starting point. That's how direction begins. So when you decide to move, don't dip your toe in. Step in, commit, find out, go all the way, and see what you're really capable of. Before we fully dive in, I just ask for one small thing. If you can take a second to like or hype the video, it really helps to reach more people who might need these words today. Thank you. People always ask, who are you? We tell our kids to figure it out. We tell ourselves we're supposed to know. But the truth is that question can feel overwhelming because most of us don't really know how to define ourselves. And something that helped me understand that is this idea that we are not some fixed identity. We are what we create ourselves to be. That takes the pressure off. You don't have to arrive fully formed. You are allowed to build yourself over time. What's interesting is that it's often much easier to figure out who you're not than who you are. You might not know exactly what your purpose is, but you usually know what doesn't feel right. You know what drains you, you know what doesn't fit, and when you start eliminating what isn't you, by simple logic, you start moving closer to what is. That process alone will take you a long way. Sometimes we think growth means pushing harder, pressing the accelerator, more hustle, more effort, and sometimes that's true. But sometimes the real work is taking your foot off the brake, stepping back, letting yourself breathe, laughing a little, enjoying the moment, letting go of what's weighing you down instead of forcing yourself to power through it. There are times when dancing through the rain is more productive than trying to fight the storm. Even the difficult things in life can teach you something. You don't have to like them, but you can acknowledge them. You can say, okay, I see what that showed me, thank you. And you move forward stronger. One of the most powerful things you can do is find something you have a natural ability for, something that just feels right, something that comes more easily to you than to most people. We love doing things we're naturally good at, but that doesn't mean you stop there. That's when you start learning. That's when you study it. That's when you work at it. That's when you put in the hours and build the skill and go after opportunities. You measure the world through that lens. You get better at it. You sharpen it. And eventually, if you do it right, the world needs what you do. That's the sweet spot. That's when you're paying your rent. That's when there's food on the table. That's when you wake up with purpose. You might still be tired. You might still have hard days, but you're not dreading your life. You're building something. You're in construction. You're creating something that matters to you. You're capable of more than you can imagine. And one of the best strategies in life is simply to be a good person. Not for applause, not for reward, but because it works. The better a person you are, the more opportunities open up. Don't do things only for money. You can make money many ways, but when you love what you do, you study it. You become immersed in it. It stops being something you do and it becomes part of who you are. That's when confidence turns into confidence. Visualization matters. When you have an idea, that's the seed. When you picture it, when you see yourself there, that's the fertilizer. You are feeding something inside yourself. You are telling your mind and your heart where you are going. Life is not easy. It never was. It isn't now, and it won't ever be. Life is not fair. Don't fall into the trap of entitlement. You are not a victim. Get up, move forward. Most of the things that are worth having require effort. They require sweat, they require commitment. Strip everything away and ask yourself what's really there. Without the titles, without the labels, without the job, without the fame, who are you? Is there a loving heart there? Is there strength? Is there discipline? Is there loyalty? That's who you are. That's the one thing you cannot get rid of. You're stuck with yourself for life. So you might as well learn how to live with that person. Courage is the foundation of everything. You need courage to change. You need courage to quit. You need courage to be rejected. You need courage to grow. It's not about whether you have courage or not. It's about how much you're willing to use. Courage is built by doing courageous things. Difficult conversations take courage. Learning takes courage. Becoming better takes courage. And the more you use it, the more you become who you're meant to be. Courage is not for someone else. It's not for applause, medals, or approval. Courage is what in that moment feels most right for you. It's the decision to move forward even when you're afraid. There's a line that says, cowards die many times before their deaths, but the brave only die once. That doesn't mean brave people don't feel fear. They do. The difference is they don't let fear decide their life. They feel it and they move anyway. Right now, there are people walking around who are alive, but their dreams are not, their ideas are not. Their potential is sitting inside them, unused, gathering dust. They will carry talents, abilities, and callings to the grave because they never had the courage to become who they really are. If you want to step into your future, if you want to manifest what you were created to do, it's going to take everything in you. It takes an honest look at your life and asking, how can I express more of who I am? How can I bring my ideas into the world? How can I stop holding back? You have to live with urgency, not panic. Urgency, because life is not guaranteed. You are here today and tomorrow is not promised. So ask yourself, what is the benefit of waiting? What do you gain by not going after what you know you want? What do you gain by not listening to yourself? For a lot of people, the reason they don't move is because they believe failure is final. They think if they try and fall, that's the end. But fear doesn't protect you. Fear sedates you. Fear paralyzes you. Fear locks you in a prison, and the only way out is to move. You have to see yourself winning in the same place where you once lost. Every person who has achieved something meaningful has failed. Every single one. Failure is not a verdict, it's a lesson. And if you change the way you see failure, you change the way you live. Stop telling yourself you're not good enough. Stop telling yourself you don't have what it takes. If you want a different future, then you have to get up and try again, and then try again, and then try again. You were not created to live in fear. You were created to walk in purpose. Courage is the foundation of every other virtue. Without it, you can't be disciplined. You can't be honest. You can't be kind in a meaningful way. You can't grow. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's action in the presence of fear. If you are terrified and you move anyway, that is courage. Yes, taking risks is scary, but staying in a life that makes you miserable should scare you even more. Winning something meaningful will cost you comfort. It will cost you certainty. It will cost you excuses. But what it gives back is worth far more. Courage spreads. Being around brave people raises your standard. Surround yourself with people who are willing to try, who are willing to stand out, who are willing to take responsibility for their lives. Not people who hide, not people who settle, not people who repeat what everyone else says. Ask yourself some real questions. Can you do what is required to fulfill your purpose? Can you execute? Can you stay disciplined? Can you stay principled? Do you have the courage to live the life you know you're meant to live? Courage comes from the heart. It's the willingness to be moved, to be challenged, to be changed. Most people avoid that. They hold on to what's familiar even when it's hurting them. But real living requires risk. It requires vulnerability. It requires stepping into the wind and trusting yourself. Have the courage to love yourself. Have the courage to take a chance. Have the courage to be who you are. Be strong, be steady. Come out of the dark and into the light with everything you have. Run toward what calls you. Keep giving, keep believing, keep pushing, and don't let fear write the story of your life. It is not the critic who counts. It's not the person who points out how someone else stumbled or what they should have done better. The credit belongs to the person who is actually in the arena. The one who shows up, the one who gets dirty, the one who puts in the work, takes the hits and keeps going, the one who tries again and again. And even if they fall short while daring greatly. That is the only place real growth happens. You have to learn to listen to yourself. You already know. You can feel when something isn't right. You can feel when the path you're on doesn't fit you. And if you slow down and pay attention, you can trust those feelings. When something inside you keeps telling you that what you're doing now is not what you're meant to do, don't ignore that. Don't let doubt build a case against your own life. Don't let that inner voice talk you out of your future. You can't judge what's possible for you based on where you are right now. Your circumstances don't define who you are. Your resources don't define your potential. Where you are today is not who you are, it's just where you are. And the possibilities for your life are still wide open. is greater than, is greater than, is greater than, is greater than. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made. It doesn't matter how many times you failed. It doesn't matter how much money you've lost or how many plans didn't work out. None of that disqualifies you. Those are not losses. They are investments in what you've learned. They are part of the process of becoming who you're meant to be. When you start listening to yourself and you start acting on what you know is right for you, things begin to change. You start seeing doors open. You start meeting people you didn't know before. Ideas start coming to you. Things begin to click, not because life suddenly gets easy, but because you are finally moving in the right direction. The key is focus. What you focus on grows. What you give your energy to expands. When you focus on what you want to build, what you want to become, what you want to contribute, it begins to shape your thinking, your confidence, and your actions. That's where your greatness comes from. That's where your drive comes from. That's where your passion comes from. The truth is, the power inside you will never show itself unless you challenge it. You have to put yourself in situations where you have to rise, where you have no choice but to figure it out, where it's do or die, sink or swim. And when you do that, you discover something about yourself. You become more creative, more capable, stronger than you thought you were. All you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. But you have to make sure you actually do it. So as you look at your future, look at every part of your life. Your relationships, your work, your family, your mindset, your habits, your growth. Decide that from this moment forward, you're going to do all you can do to develop yourself, to bring your talent forward, and to make a contribution to this world. Because here's what I know about you. There is greatness inside you. Your life is worth the effort. It's not easy, but it is worth it. You may have failed before in money, in school, in your health, in your confidence, but that doesn't end your story. I need you right now to get up and try again. One of the most important things we can learn in life is how to turn bad times into something useful. How to look at something that feels negative, painful, or unfair and realize that it might eventually become something meaningful. That doesn't mean pretending things don't hurt. It means understanding that what feels bad now doesn't have to stay that way forever. When something goes wrong, the first thing I do is try to make sense of it. Sometimes I even have to talk myself into believing what I already know intellectually, even if I don't feel it yet. People say things like, "This too shall pass." And in the moment, that can feel meaningless. When you're deep in a hard season, when you're in the middle of stress, fear, or loss, it doesn't feel temporary, it feels permanent. But there's something in me, whether I'm aware of it or not, that believes this is not all there is. And even if it is, so snorts what? That sounds strange, but it changes how much power the moment has over you. I don't like to create extra drama. I don't like to make things bigger than they need to be. That doesn't mean I don't feel pain. I do. I get sad, I get angry, I get restless, I lose sleep, I replay things in my head, I question what I did wrong. When bad things happen, my first instinct is to look inward and ask, what did I do to contribute to this? That kind of reflection usually happens when we're at our lowest. When things are going well, we don't analyze much, but when things fall apart, we do nothing but think about them. And that's when I learned something important. If we're willing to analyze what went wrong when things fall apart, then we should also analyze what goes right when things go well. If you want more good days, you need to understand what created them. I started noticing patterns. When I was appreciating things more, when I was grateful, when I was paying attention instead of rushing through life, those days were better. Those moments were stronger. And when I got off track, I could look back and see what I had stopped doing. The good things in your life don't happen by accident. There are habits behind them. There are attitudes behind them. And when things are going well, that's the time to pay attention, because it won't always be that way. Another challenge will come. Another mountain will appear. That's life. And sometimes the best advice you can give yourself is the advice you already know but haven't been following. We're not here just to protect what we already have. We're here to explore, to build, to push forward. We don't grow by playing it safe. We grow by being involved, by being committed, by being willing to fail. That's why I choose things that challenge me, things that cost something, things that make me nervous. If there's no risk, there's no growth. I feel more alive when I'm in something that matters, when I'm trying to do something that's hard. Life is not easy. It never was. It isn't now, and it won't be. Life is not fair. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you're a victim. You're not. Get up and move forward. The most meaningful things in life usually require effort, struggle, and sacrifice. At the end of a good day, I can feel it. I know when I showed up, when I prepared, when I had intention and followed through, that gives me satisfaction. That gives me confidence. That gives me a sense that I'm becoming who I'm supposed to be. So be brave, have courage. Because every time you choose courage, you get stronger, you get more aware, you gain respect for yourself, and you become better equipped to handle whatever comes next. Let me tell you something about the opponent. On paper, they might be bigger, they might be faster, they might be stronger, they might have more experience, and they know it. But there is one thing they don't know. They don't know your heart. They don't know what you're willing to give when it's hard. They don't know why you're here. You shouldn't do something just because you can. You should do it because you want it, because it means something to you, because it pulls something out of you. That's when it becomes powerful. That's when it becomes yours. We already understand this in other parts of life. We know that if you exercise consistently, it works. We know that if you eat well over time, it works. We just don't know exactly how long it will take for each person, but we trust the process because it always works. And it's the same in your career, your goals, and your purpose. You have to be willing to do things that you know work, even when you can't measure the results yet. That's why I stopped chasing timelines and deadlines for who I'm supposed to be. You can't predict your growth by the calendar. What matters is that you are becoming, that you are staying in the process. And when you visualize your future, you don't put it somewhere far away. You bring it here, you feel it now. You see yourself in the life you want, in the home you want, in the relationship you want. But more importantly, you feel what that life feels like. And when you do that, something wakes up inside you. Something that doesn't go back to sleep. Something that says, let's go get this. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. That's why you have to develop your mind. You have greatness inside you. There is a real voice in you that knows who you are and who you're meant to be. And if you don't listen to it, someone else will end up deciding your life for you. When you recognize your greatness, no one pulls your strings anymore. You are here for a reason. You were created on purpose. But you won't take control of your life until you stop being what you're not. Abundance is not just money. Abundance is overflow. It means your cup is full and it spills over into the lives of others. It means you have enough love, enough health, enough strength, enough faith, and enough resources to give. That's real abundance. Wealth is one thing, abundance is everything. And here's the power of it. What you put into your own mind every day, no one else can touch. That's your path. That's your work. And when you keep walking it, something real starts to happen. If you're still listening, it means something in this wasn't just noise to you, it touched a nerve. It challenged you. It made you pause. So don't let it fade. Type this in the comments. I didn't back out. That's not a slogan, it's a fact about what you just did. So make your life bold, make it honest, make it fearless. Run after what matters to you. Even if you hit the wall, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's lonely. Greatness is about being willing to give yourself fully to what you were made to do. And when you do that, nothing can stop you. Remember, only you decide how limitless you are.